Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ESL Pro League Season 8 live from the Intel eSports Arena. We are ready to rumble with a very exciting day as the conclusion of the online season of the European part of Pro League. We're going to be seeing who will actually be moving forward after the games are concluded today. A lot of games being played out at the same times across multiple different streams, and we'll be guiding you through one of the best of twos here today. Joined again once by the wonderful Jakey.
Hi, Jack. How you doing?
Not good, yeah.
I'm doing fine. You're doing fine.
That's what it's about, right? We're both happy. We're living.
We are.
It's just two best of ones today, Jake. A much
it is.
Smaller broadcast.
Yeah,
a little portion.
Interesting how everyone's playing at the same time, you know. Intense for the players that are playing. You know, they have no idea what's going on, so everyone's just playing their hearts out and hoping for the best. Well,
that is the crazy thing, right? Because there's so many games going on at once. If you've left it up to another team to decide your fate, it can be a scary affair. We'll break some of that down as we get into the meat of the broadcast later. But for now, let's look back on yesterday, the results of what exactly occurred over here on the B stream. To kick it off, we spoke about the importance of HellRaisers, Jake. The same could be said for Space Soldiers as well. Now, both of these teams actually struggled a little bit in yesterday's games.
Yeah. Both these teams neck and neck in the score in the leaderboards at the moment, and both just trying to edge points off each other, but wasn't really the case yesterday. Both had their ups and downs. Both had an equal result against Heroic there, and we saw two really close series between both teams there. It was an interesting game.
Yeah, it was quite crazy. For Heroic, they were able to pick up 2 wins and split the series, dividing those 3 points, which caused a bit of a stagnation, keeping HellRaisers and Space Soldiers in the same position. Later on in the night, though, we saw AGO. Now, for AGO, we needed to see a bit more momentum coming out for them, right? They've looked a little bit better as the season's gone on. Cape has started to bring a little bit of form to the roster, Jake, but G2 looked phenomenal.
Yeah, G2 were a complete whole nother beast than what we've seen previously. They were just on absolute fire, Existence popping off, Smiths as well giving it. It was just wonderful to see them performing to such a high level.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous, and maybe there'll be a chance to witness some of that today, as we'll have a look now, moving on to the standings of how everyone has been left off the back of that, Jake. And there's a lot of interesting storylines going into this. As we touched on, all the games have been played at the same time, so the teams that have left their fate up to another squad are really going to be biting their nails, waiting to try and see those results. And you've looked into this a little bit. Why don't you break some of the more interesting points down?
Exactly, Jack. Well, starting off, we can see at the top of the table, nothing too crazy should be happening today. Astralis, Na'Vi and Big, they're pretty much secure where they are. However, looking from about 5th to around 10th place is where all the magic can really be happening. All those teams can essentially trade places depending on how the results go today. Towards the bottom of the table, however, we've got AGO struggling right at the bottom, and they're going to have to pull off something spectacular today versus, well, the best team in the tournament, Astralis. They're going to have to 2-0 them for any real chance of getting straight out of that bottom position.
Yeah, it is crazy. There's also a chance as well, potentially for FaZe Clan, to still make it to the playoffs. However, there is also an opportunity where they physically have to fight for their survival in the relegation side of things, isn't there, Jake?
There is, Jack. Absolutely right. They can go as high as 7th place, and like you said, as low as 12th. They're going to need both results to go for them in the games that they're playing, and for other teams to slip up.
And that is going to be quite a crazy affair. It's really left us in a bit of a predicament in terms of the games we've had. There's so much weight left on these teams, and I think a lot of fans are going to be looking to that side as well. Even a squad like Space Soldiers, Jake, there's potential there. They were trying to get as many points as physically possible yesterday. They did not have the best run of form. Now still left in a bit of a shaky position where their fate is unknown.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, they can trade places with even G2. However, it's all on them. And, again, other teams to mess up. So for all these teams, there's a lot of question marks going into their games. You know, they'll be playing and they have absolutely no idea where they're going to be ending up on the table, even after their series.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. If we move on to have a look at the schedule for today's games as well, we can confirm exactly who is going to be playing here on the secondary stream. That will be G2 versus HellRaisers, but as you can see, these are all the matchups that are going on simultaneously. Another game being covered by the A stream will be the FaZe matchup, because they need to win that game in a 2-0 to secure their points. However, as we said, all these other results matter because of the really effect of the standings that have been left in. It's not just up to you to win your own games. You've struggled in the season and left in a position now where potentially, depending on the other results that are coming through today, they could still be locked out if teams perform well.
Yeah, we can easily get into crazy situations where it comes down to round difference and head-to-head. And for teams, you never really want to be leaving it to round difference because games can go so differently and it's just always a mess. You never know how it's going to come out in the end.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Some hot matches going on today that will be broadcasted across the board. The one we are going to be looking at, though, as we said, G2 versus HellRaisers is the one we'll get into. Cash and Inferno, Jake. We saw G2 last night. They look great.
Yeah, and although they looked fantastic, I'm happy to hold my horns. Just, you know, calm down a bit, see how they perform versus HellRaisers, who are arguably a much better side than AGO. Also, interestingly, the maps are very different to yesterday. Two maps which are famously consistently picked by G2. However, they do seem to struggle on both of these maps consistently. So it's a scary one, Jack.
It is. It's going to be a bit rough. If we're going to see G2 excel going into Cash, we really need to have the calls on point. And for Existence yesterday, he looked fabulous with his calling. Now, if you guys at home are struggling with your calls, why not think about heading over to Vodafone and switching up your contract to get the most out of your calling potential? That's Vodafone. You could be as good as Existence with the calls.
Absolutely, Jack. And G2, they might be trying to change up their calling as well. You know, the rumours they're all about at the moment. Is Existence going to stay in this lineup? Is he not? He made a pretty good case for it yesterday. We have to see if he carries on that form into the rest of Pro League and potentially the live finals. Yeah,
that's what we need to see, is just sort of if this form is something that is going to stick now, if it was a one-off, if it's something where we're seeing a little bit of momentum and potentially the hype returning for those players, because you're going to find yourself slumping a little bit. If you're sort of constantly under the pressure of being cut from a roster, always hearing that, you know, you're not performing by your organization, by people around you, everyone's been quite vocal about G2 from the get-go, and you know that's got to sort of stick with you. For a player like Existence that it seems like everyone's always got a negative opinion of, when at one point he was so high up in the echelons of Counter-Strike, right? For him to now sort of put that to one side, put it in a box and not think about it, perform well and try and show there's still a lot for us to achieve here. Let's try and show what we can do with this core 5, what's left of Pro League, potentially could sort of show maybe there's still a chance left there.
Yeah, and touching on that point, that could be what we were seeing yesterday, is Existence just not caring at all. You know, we saw some of the plays he was making, just charging up mid on Dust 2, charging up short, no regard for the other team. And potentially that could pay off. He might struggle against better teams, though. Better teams who are, you know, they're going to catch on if you carry on just pushing and giving it. You probably won't be able to get away with it today versus HellRaisers, but we'll see.
And that, again, comes down to sort of what you briefly touched on there with the map pool, right? Because this is completely different to what we've seen in the past. And we know these are maps that G2 sometimes they can a little bit shaky on. It's like walking across a tightrope, Jake. They're going to need pure, perfect balance. And they're too inconsistent for that. Sometimes we see a good roster show up. Sometimes it's a little bit indifferent. And going onto that opening map there on Cash, it could be quite a scary feat. HellRaisers in the past, they've looked really good on it. If we do actually see Hobbit playing as well today, that's going to be scarier because you know he can just start to rip you a new one. He's going to be running around the map trying to strut his stuff on a map like Cash.
Yeah, Hobbit is definitely an interesting point for HellRaisers because we only saw him once yesterday and he didn't really seem to be utilized all that well. We saw him on apps in Inferno and he just seemed to... He was given a free role just to sort of lurk and, you know, do a bit of magic, but nothing really got going. I think he had one frag in the first 9 rounds or something, and he didn't really have much impact on the game. So hopefully they've discussed where he can have the biggest impact for that team, and they can utilize him a lot better today.
And I think that's really sort of what it comes down to, is Angel discovering how he wants to use Hobbit, because as you said, it's about the micromanaging. You can't just drop him into a role and go, you're the new Bondic, do this, but do it better, and hope that that's going to work out, because he's an entirely different player. His skill set is vastly different. The way he works and the way he approaches CS is, you know, a completely different game, really. So you have to find how he slots into the team and potentially restructure that lineup a little bit. You can't just cut and trade a man.
Exactly, and that's the issue that they're going to face with so little time and so much to play for today. I'm not sure if they've done it in time.
Maybe it could have been a bit of a too late decision there, coming in very late, literally sort of the last 2 days of Pro League. That change is going to be a harsh one for them. They are in a good position in terms of the standings, but they need to try and hold on to that. And that is the scary factor, because nothing's set in stone for HellRaisers.
No, absolutely. A lot of results can go against them. They'll want a minimum of 1 map versus G2 today. And looking at these 2 maps, it's definitely doable. Neither of these teams are exceedingly dominant on either Cash or Inferno out of the last previous results. They're pretty similar in terms of who they've been beating and who they've been losing to. G2, they've been losing to Nip, Complexity on Cash. HellRaisers, they've beaten Fnatic, but then again, you lose to someone like Imperial recently. So it's sort of all over the place.
And that's why I think this map pool is sort of one of the ones that it's given a little bit of a question mark to, right? Because it's maps that I mean, Cash and Inferno, they're vastly different in terms of the playstyle we're going to see coming out from them. And we know there is that potential to struggle. We saw HellRaisers on Inferno yesterday, and their T side looked very lackluster. As you touched on, it was sort of the utilization of Hobbit that was a question mark there. Dead Fox was having a very slow day. The whole team just sort of seemed like the communication was quite slow. And we sort of wondered why that was. Is that a potential factor where they just physically haven't had time to get into the role? And as well, is it that impact, without Bondic being there, that it's the communication side of things as well? Not just him actually being able to try and be the player he is, but how he works with all 5 members. Yeah,
exactly. You can replace someone one for one at a skill level. However, you don't actually know until you play with someone how someone's impact is, lessened. When you remove someone like Bondic, you don't know what he was actually doing for the team behind the scenes, communication, just how he gels everyone together. He could have been a really important part for HellRaisers, and they could really miss him today.
I think there's potential for that, especially if we do have to see the coach obviously coming back in again. Jonta, it's not somewhere where you expect to see him. Obviously behind the monitor, being more of that analyst, trying to help them out in terms of outside the game. Expected he does a great job there, and we've seen that because it can help them out with being able to anti-strat going into the games. However, in the server with a rifle in his hands, not too fantastic. An MP9, not as bad.
Yeah, he looked okay in the game we watched yesterday, but in the later series, he seemed to struggle. I think he had 25 ADR versus Windigo in one of the maps. Not ideal, but has to be expected when you're the coach. And hopefully, they do have their 5 real players playing today versus G2 in an important game.
And that is actually one of the more interesting things about all the simultaneous games we have going on today. There's a lot of teams that are playing with coaches being subbed in, Astralis as well, playing from
different continents.
Yeah, the Intercontinental title champions, apparently.
Yeah, they love it.
It's absolutely ridiculous to think about. So potential for some actual quite crazy upsets, or the results to maybe not go the way the benchmarks look.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be a crazy game. A crazy day as well. Lots of crazy games. Lots of crazy days.
Yeah. Charles Barkley. Absolutely crazy. Ridiculous. Let's have a look at the odds for this one in particular, though. So we'll actually be favoured to G2, but only slightly. A small margin there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very even game. You look at these two teams together, you look at the table itself, and I'd say those are fair odds, especially how these teams were performing yesterday. I would probably favour G2, just as HellRaisers didn't look fully confident with their new lineup.
That was actually the sort of the main point, is it seems to be HellRaisers defeating themselves in a lot of those rounds that we witnessed, right? They were kind of letting themselves down versus Heroic, making mistakes. It was actually very surprising that the map they won was with their coach as well, rather than the map with Hobbit. And even then, that was a huge comeback. That first half, he looked quite flat. We didn't really see him gelling with the team. Second half, a lot more aggressive, but that was also still causing issues. It was like they've just given him a free rein to kind of do what he wants. Different to how it seems Angel normally controls his players.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to see if he does really adapt to how Hobbit is as a star player. As we saw in that Gambit lineup where he won the major, he was so important for them. He was the breakout player that year, youngster coming out of nowhere, and he really has to be utilized to his utmost potential because he can be a real star.
Yeah, definitely so. And on the flip side of things with G2, are we going to see that form carry on? That's really sort of the big question to it, right? Is it a one-off? Was it just the wacky day versus AGL where everyone was feeling themselves? They started on Dust 2, so they know they just had the momentum there to just headstrong go into it because the firepower they have. We saw Existence really feeling himself, just sprinting his way up mid. The one that was actually quite quiet again was Shox, and it seems like Shox is still having a little bit of a slow day in that roster.
Sure. To be fair, you don't even know if he's back to cooling.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an enigma with that team. You never know what's really going on behind the scenes, and I think if we're being fair, you have to sort of call that a one-off until we see otherwise, as you can't really expect Existence to be topping the scoreboard every game. You've got to see Kenny S. He was playing fantastically yesterday, but he has to bring over that form, body. He was playing fine, but he needs to help support Kenny S. And like you said, Shox, he does have to step up here.
Yeah, we need to see something more because the firepower that man used to have was utterly ridiculous. Whilst we wait to get underway with our opening game here of HellRaisers versus G2, we are going to go to a brief break and fill that void with a lovely video from Betway until we're ready to get underway with the action.
Welcome to Betway's Counter-Strike quiz that's against the clock. Dupree's going to have 1 minute 55 seconds, the same as a round of Counter-Strike, to answer as many questions as you can. If you don't know a question, pass, and then we'll see your score at the end and create a leaderboard.
Yes.
Excited?
Yes.
Great. When I say the first question, the time is going to start. Tim is going to give us
I'm so excited.
Tim is going to say when the minute's up or the minute 50's up. So, on which map would you find the call-out goose?
That's 2.
Nice.
Which player famously screamed chicken coop?
3 yes, sorry.
Negative.
Mo. How much would 2 flashes and 1 grenade cost?
2 flashes and 1 grenade. That'll be $700.
Yes.
Nice.
Name 3 players that names begin with S.
Symbol, Sergey, Seized.
Nice.
Okay. What skin is this?
That is a Fire Servant.
Nice.
How old is Taz?
32.
Nice.
Which player was ranked 1 on HLTV in 2014?
Get it right.
Nice.
Where's the London Major going to be held?
And the Wembley Arena thing.
Correct.
Nice.
Name NIP's original CSGO lineup.
Freiburg, Fifth Laren, Exist, Forest, and get it right.
Nice.
What is Oscar's first name?
Thomas.
Nice.
Easy. Who was MVP of ESL 1 Cologne 2017?
Colster.
Negative.
Which team was top of the world rankings on Christmas Day?
SK Gaming.
Nice.
Who is the highest rated team across all majors?
Fnatic.
And someone else. There's 2 teams, sorry.
Fnatic and SK.
Negative.
Nope. Which pro player has the first name Martin?
Stico.
Nice.
With 1,502 maps played, who has the most maps on HLTV?
Get it right.
Negative.
Neo.
I would have said Neo.
Last question. You've got 27 seconds left.
Okay.
Can you name the only Bulgarian player currently playing in a top 10 team?
That's currently not.
Currently playing. Who is in the top 10 team?
Cirque.
Nice.
Nice. How many seconds left?
That's pretty good, right?
16 seconds.
I'll take it.
I think that was rather impressive.
Thank you.
So congratulations. Congratulations.
I did good.
I love your cheer at the end. That was...
I felt like I got a roll on you.
You were just like, yeah, damn it, we need more questions. We're going to do this more people, so we
It
need
was really
more
good.
questions.
It was fun. It's funny.
Great. Guys, comment how many you got correct. If you managed to beat the timer but also get more correct than Dupree, well, you're a genius. If you didn't, better luck next time, and thank you for watching.
And welcome back to ESL Pro League. Well, we're almost ready now to get underway with our starting map here. And the 2 best of ones that are going to be played out, Jake, with HellRaisers and G2.
Yeah, interestingly enough, all games are starting at the exact same second. Just to make sure nothing dodgy is going on.
It's fair.
Just adds to the excitement, Jack.
It does. It is quite crazy as well, because a lot of these are going to be covered, I believe, over different streams. So all of the games should be available tonight. So if there are teams you're looking at, definitely go and check those out, because this is really going to be the meat of it. This is the biggest day of Pro League, really, in terms of finding out where exactly everyone is going to be situated. This one means a lot, and we are ready to get underway now. The opening map is Cash. HellRaisers will be your CTs, and G2 are starting off on the T side.
Yeah, and G2 really going to be wanting to start things off nice and quickly. See, they've got the nades out. Kenny S just setting up that Z smoke. There we go, lovely bit of following the grenade. Ooh, that's not what you want to see. A missed grenade so early on, but a main aggression coming in. Traded equally so far, but Issa's taking the brunt of damage. Not ideal for the CT side. However, Woxic, he's pushed B main as well.
Ooh, so Woxic has the bomb control. He's trying to take these firefights, Jake, but he's being slightly tagged up there. Kenny gets knocked down to 72. Existence looks to try and go for the flank around and hit him in the back. Kenny will get the kill onto Woxic. Issa trades it on Smiths, and they're left in the 2 versus 3. And the CTs are actually converging towards them, but that is a huge dink. Look how low everyone is on HellRaisers right now. This is absolute lunacy in existence. If he was to win this round, it would be some crazy plays from the Pistol King.
Yeah, it is still so winnable as those plays are so low, but caught with a nade in his hand. He was getting pushed from either side there, and really nice round from HellRaisers. You could see that G2 had a plan in mind. They had the smokes, they had the mollies, but HellRaisers, they pushed on both sides of the map, which is, you don't see that every day, and just about worked out for them.
And that's one of the things I see potentially coming out from HellRaisers a lot into this game. On a map like Cash, if they're feeling themselves, if they're wanting to just try and play with the aggression and not really allow that tactical style that Existence wants to run, where it's much slower defaults there on the T side at all, would probably see that aggression coming out quite consistently here, but Shocks We spoke about him stepping up. He's feeling himself with the deagle today, Jake.
Yeah, Angel just hanging around there a bit too long, and they are just going to burst out on that A site. They know Issa should be alone. Going to just try and run him down quickly.
He's doing a good job of staying alive and finding the frags. Might be caught off on the reload, but he's lifted it. Will not die. Finds himself 4 kills and holds on to the M4. That is pretty ridiculous there when you think about it.
Yeah, that's really nice. A great sign for HellRaisers. Issa, definitely their star player here, and if he's popping off early, every chance for them to take this game, Jack.
Exactly. Hobbit, he found 2 frags early on as well, so he's starting to build that momentum. And we need to see that coming out. HellRaisers, if they can get into this game headstrong, have the big names already, straight off the back, hot from the press, feeling themselves walking into it, then they are scary. That's when they're at their best, because they're allowed to play that more aggressive style of CS. And that will really fundamentally counter what G2 get up to.
Yeah, already just constant aggression coming out from HellRaisers. Issa already happy to take the fight in A main on his own. Almost kills Kenny S there. Left on 10 HP. Only got his rifle, so can't even fall back to just playing around with an orb. Shox looks like he might be able to catch Issa there, and he does. Nice play from Shox. Famously great door player. However, it's not too bad for HellRaisers just as yet. Players are low on G2. However, they're walking into that B bomb site. It's only Dead Fox here in Vents.
Yeah, the Vent Fox waiting to try and go for a assault onto the opposing side. Body should actually cut off the rotate as well. We can hear the player sprinting towards him. Smiths will be able to go for the wide face, gets the initial frag. They do fall back and allow Woxic in towards the site, and that is a mistake. He gets the first pick. Body will finally go for the attack from the rear. Pops off his head, and it is all on Angel. Surely this has got to be the first round picked up for G2. Angel through the smoke, but he dives behind. Bloody still blind, but keeps on shooting.
Yeah, really nice initiative play there from Body, just to walk through CT. Probably did have the info that someone was about to face upper, but Kenny S was already low, and ultimately they traded the kill rather quickly, so nice round from G2. And really stopping that aggression from HellRaisers quite well.
They're going to need to have their number and realize that that unrivaled aggression tends to be something we see from them a lot. Very aggressive play towards mid here as well. Hobbit playing on the close angle, Jake, with the MP9, looking to try and slaughter them if they come out towards his mid.
Yeah, absolutely. Another slow round coming out from G2. We've got Existence just boosted up on the red container, looking for any pushes into mid main. And again, Shox and Body working towards that B-bomb site. And already, the double nade in towards Woxic. That's not the start you need for HellRaisers, who are already on limited guns here.
Yeah, it's a good use of the utility to actually open up the site. About to try and go for their play in. There is a man just quivering, hiding, waiting for the correct moment, and that'll be the time to strike off the back of the flashbang, trying to keep them blind. Hobbit, the reposition doesn't work out too well for him, and only get one, and the trades galore are going down. It's a shooting gallery right now, and the MP9 is reigning supreme when it comes to knocking off blocks. Shox has gone down, and the T's will start to make their move up through mid.
Yeah, like you said, just trades all over the place. Neither team really coming out on top, so to speak, and Angel just about doesn't catch him. Kenny S was very low there, so only took one hit. Interesting fight going to be at mid. Existence should have that info for Kenny. So once that bomb goes down, he should be staring right at A main.
Kenny, ready for it. As you said, he's got the read. He knows about this. He is low, 23 HP. He's just got to hold on to it and focus as the push will slowly be coming up. It's a matter of time. The rotates come back around, so Existence there to assist him as well. He comes through, double tap down with the AK, gets the adjustment. Dead Fox is dead, and Angel is an Angel.
Yeah, really nice from Existence there. He had all the info. They know exactly where at least one player, but they could deduce where that second player is coming from. So you saw, as soon as Kenny gets that first kill, Existence is ready. And lovely 2v2 from the two Frenchmen. Well, Existence is Belgium, but... Yeah. French team.
Honorary French.
Yeah, at this point.
You might as well be, after all these years. Yeah,
finally, yeah. HellRaisers' economy has been broken.
Yeah, they're going to go for the mortar strike towards mid, it seems. I prefer
Could be huge, actually.
Ooh.
Okay, not as bad as it could have been. There were two players lingering around there. So, G2, they should be happy with that.
Lucky not to lose a few limbs there on the aggression. Existence tries to do a little bit of his own damage with the grenades, goes for the peek out as well, but Issa's keen with the pistol, able to find those frags very easily. Kenny on the rifle, however, will begin to tap them down. And it is a little bit nicer seeing Kenny playing with the AK more in terms of rounds, because we do see a lot of that where AWPers, we consistently stuck into using in open situations on a map like Cash where it doesn't feel like it's that viable. At times, we can see him pop off, be able to get those early entries, and you know there's normally a game plan in mind. But if we're just seeing one of those default rounds come out, he's still quite crisp with an AK, and it gives him more mobility.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely getting more proficient with the rifle every day, it seems. Must be putting in the time. As we've, like you said, you can't just rely on being a great AWPer nowadays.
Just isn't enough.
Interestingly, HellRaisers have decided to boost it quad from the get-go here. Quite an interesting decision. You do sort of lose the mobility of one player with the whole round to play out. However, G2 just taking things slow again. Looks like they're going to go for a bit of mid-control here. Here's only Hobbit to defend. He doesn't have many nades left. Already that boost has not come to anything. They've dropped off.
So going to smoke out. They get that in towards main to at least hold back the push for the meantime. But everyone is grouped up. Shox has been able to open up the door as well. Smith gets tagged through the smoke, however, and brought down 70 HP. It's going to be a little flash from Shox as they're starting to get themselves ready to go for this opportune attack. But Angel does so much damage, Jake. This has got to delay things. Yeah,
it seemed as if they were double thinking about going back towards B, as we saw all those three players from A main walk back towards boost. They boosted over Smiths. It seems to be the A split on the cards, but HellRaisers have three players here to defend it.
Oh, and you can see the mind games coming into play, though. Angel quickly trying to decide which angle to focus on. Is it going to be main? Is it going to be up through short? As they're a little bit paranoid now, and the convergence will start to come in. The two-pronged attack onto that A site. As the push comes bursting out, they dive around the angle. Angel will be able to get the first two frags, and the backstab just isn't enough. Issa defends towards the site, and it's all up to Big Kev. He couldn't get the turnaround either, and that will be the shutdown from Woxic. A nice hold there from HellRaisers. Angel actually having a lot of stock in that round.
Yeah, decent idea from G2 there. Probably weren't banking on the fact that HellRaisers had three players over on that A bomb site. It almost felt as if that initial noise that G2 made almost forced that rotation. Maybe thinking that they could just fake them out, wait a bit and re-execute on that A bomb site, and maybe someone would have rotated off, but wasn't really the case, and HellRaisers, they held strong. Oh, run boost coming in. Always love to see it.
See if it's going to work out well.
Ooh, right onto the barrels as well.
It's very nicely executed, actually, in terms of the form.
Another boost.
They're going to go for another cheeky boost, but he's ready. Woxic holding the angle, Jake, but he can't hit that one. Won't be able to get the follow-up shot. Luckily stays alive at 23 HP. You can smoke it and stay there, but he is trapped currently.
Yeah, you could see Kenny tried everything to have the advantage there. He boosted straight onto his player rather than just jumping up. But Woxic, if someone's scoped onto that precise angle, there's not much the T-AWP can really do there. Good start for HellRaisers into this round.
Response from Shot.
Not sure how he's got there without making enough noise for Hobbit to be more aware of that.
It's a bit awkward here, and actually through the smoke as well, just able to find the follow-up frag as Angel peeks out towards him from a round that was a nice start for HellRaisers, Jay, because quickly started to concede back into potentially a win for G2 here. And they're going out towards that A site. Everyone's gone for the full rotation around. The only player that's there is Issa.
Yeah, and he's only playing retake from truck, so they should have this site for free, and it could already be a save for HellRaisers.
Oh, Sharks, he does not want to allow them to save either. The Apex Predator starting to peek out. Easy adjustment there for the headshot. Issa is done for. Dead Fox and Woxic, you have to save this. You have no chance. Fortunately, G2 can't really hunt because they don't have the money for it. So it will end in a bit of a stalemate, but the fourth round is now going to go to the G2 camp.
Sure, and some teams actually prefer not to hunt in a situation like this, as it can force HellRaisers into a really awkward situation where they feel as if they need to force into this round. And obviously they don't have the economy for it, and it just makes things worse for them. They have a rubbish buy going into the next one, which G2 should be able to take. And that was just a fantastic round from Shox, who really has just single-handedly done all the work there. From a round which looked like it could have just fallen apart for G2. It's crept out mid, killed Hobbit, killed Angel, and even killed Issa just to put the final nail in the coffin there. And great round from Shox, who we said needs to step up for his team, and he's doing just that so far.
Yeah, that was the bizarre part, because in the games yesterday, it really was players like Existent Smiths and Kenny S that were doing all the work to actually get them through it, such a dominant feat. Shox didn't really even need to do too much and wasn't having the most crazy day in terms of individual performance. However, we know that skill ceiling is there. In terms of players gone by, of past success, he was absolutely ridiculous at his height. And we just haven't seen that for some time. So if there was anyone that would be worthwhile getting back on top of things, Shox would be the man.
Absolutely. And now we see the first tactical pause being called for HellRaisers, obviously used to discuss that buy. It is such an awkward situation for them. A key point in the game, really. This is really the round that will sort of decide where this half goes to. Will be interesting to see what the decision is, and not really too surprising that they forced the buy here. However, G2 really should be taking this.
So we're going to see an M4 AWP from the two save players, and the famous MP9 there on
Looks to be a faster mid take here from the get-go, actually, from G2. Well, that's a bit awkward. Hobbit just playing really close with that. MP9 is traded out. Meanwhile, a main being taken from HellRaisers. Issa might actually get even more aggressive and could catch out players on boost there. I think that Smith's still dancing around at the top. And Issa, he's just walking all the way behind them. And there we go. Execute Smiths. Gets out there, can't actually retrieve a gun. A confusing round for G2 so far. Haven't really found a foothold anywhere on the map.
Well, they're taking a bit of a tag as well on a couple of players. So body down to 40. Kenny on just below 70 HP. And he's kind of trapped at mid right now. He has a sneaking suspicion of Angel's position. It depends if he will actually be able to find the frag here. 50 seconds on the clock as they're outside, revving their engines, ready to try and bust their way in towards the B site. Dead Fox needs to hold his own. Angel takes a heavy hit at mid. Kenny knocked down even lower as he's almost done for, limping his way towards the site, Jake, with 34 seconds left on the clock as they will go for their final attack off the back of the utility being chucked out. Dead Fox peeks off his own flash, looks to try and find the early pick, but body. Absolutely sublime with the AK usage there.
Yeah, that's actually really unfortunate. Issa was playing upper about 5 seconds before the hit even came in for G2. Just decided to rotate off before they progress with that site take, and just about falling apart for HellRaisers, who had a really strong chance of taking that round. But G2, they stabilize. And a decent round. 3 players alive. Really starting to build a bank here.
The crazy bit is as well for G2 in these rounds, even now when it's looking like you're in a scenario that you shouldn't really win and that it's heavily favoured towards that CT side, they're just playing quite confidently. We're seeing Body just run in with the AK in his hands going, I know that I can get these one taps, I can open up the site. Shox, just with the aggro there towards the end of the round as well, doesn't give a damn that he's taken a couple of hits, just wants to try and find that frag. Everyone's seeming like they're actually a bit more confident in themselves again and realising individually they are talented players. They can go for those bold attacks and sometimes it will work. It's going to catch your opponent off guard.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be afraid to die at this level of CS, or you're just going to be punished for it consistently. And like you said, G2, they don't mind. And yeah, interesting buy from Hobbit. The head armor with the USP. Don't really see the point of that. Could have been a misbuy, but it's just not really the mistakes you want to be making at this level. It really hurts his buy next round as well.
Yeah, this isn't great. It is quite worrying because we've seen some pretty unorthodox things come out from Hobbit in the 2 games we have witnessed from him. Obviously, only a few rounds here so far of him being back, and he played the Inferno matchup yesterday. But it has looked a little bit like he's going quite rogue in a lot of the rounds.
Maybe they haven't just worked out what his role is in the team, haven't had enough time to practice, get comfortable with everyone. But who knows? Might actually manage to save that armor this round. As long as the G2 players don't find him. They are on the hunt, slow and steady. Bomb's only just gone down, so they've got a decent amount of time. Just about clearing the A site any second now. And Hobbit, he's going to start sweating, Jack.
Yeah, if it comes to predictability on where you're going to be saving, this is definitely one of those positions, the X-ray there, making it Also scary as we realise just how close those G2 players are. They're all converging around him. You've got 3 men on every possibility option of attack here.
There we go. Smith's surely goes into door.
Should work his way through. He's not got too much time left though if they do go for the play. And it looks like they don't really fancy it. In their mind, they won't know that he has gone for the armor buy either. So really not worth trying to run the risk of giving him an AK if he gets off a lucky shot with the USP.
Yeah, it's still a really peculiar buy from Hobbit. If he hadn't saved that armor, he wouldn't have even been able to afford a M4 really. Just about. Has a couple of nays to his name, but not a fantastic buy coming in from HellRaisers, who really need to stabilize here and get their foot straight back in this game. Oh, already Existence. Was that straight through the smoke?
That's just through the smoke. He just went for the spam in the mid.
Wow.
It is quite crazy. This is what we're seeing coming out from G2 now, where it's just, they're quite confident to go for a bold spam or those low percentage shots that just seem to be working for them because they're feeling themselves in terms of their firepower.
Sure, you never know if Existence has some sort of read on the situation or if that's just pure luck. But again, rips the head clean off of Hobbit, and Existence, he's just winning fights that you wouldn't expect versus players that should be winning those duels all day long. However, HellRaisers in an awful position into this round. They have to make some sort of play to even up the scoreline here, but G2, if they play this properly, there should be no way they lose this round. Existence still on an absolute tear. 3 kills to his name already.
Oh!
4!
Big cap!
Give him the ace.
This is absolutely wild for the main man himself. When he looks to try and burst his way in towards the B site and finish the job, we've seen the player. He's looking for the 5 kills, 5 headshots. Unfortunately, Woxic will be giving him no chances, no shenanigans today for the Belgian bruiser.
Yep, Kenny S sensibly just running off with the bomb, making sure the round at least is secured. Shock's probably just going to make sure Woxic can't really do anything, and there we go, finishes off the round. And again, one player from G2 just tearing HellRaisers to shreds there. It's fantastic to watch.
It is quite ridiculous. Existence, big impact on the game, very effective stuff. Shocks as well. Actually been so effective in being able to open up rounds towards mid. And it's quite funny, it's been a passing of the torch between the two boys and who's actually just going to be able to open up mid and single-handedly pretty much win those rounds. That's now twice we've seen it, where as soon as they've got the mid control, HellRaisers have just been frazzled, Jake. They have no idea how to counter it, and they're losing these fights as well. They just don't look warm today going into this. Existence again.
Yeah, and as we were discussing, we were wondering if it was just some random form coming in yesterday, but he's carried it straight over into this second day. And God help HellRaisers at the moment, Jack, because this is getting tough for them. Should go to 8-3, and they need a response here.
There's a reason why Existence was on the top of Counter-Strike back in the days of Source, and they're still regarded as one of the smartest in-game leaders, even going into CSGO. And we're now finally seeing a little bit of the aim returning to him as well. And it is quite nice to see, because there's still some life left in this G2 roster, and that's clearly being proven today as they take a huge lead over HellRaisers here. And bear in mind, Jake, the importance of this one matchup alone in terms of the overall standings for both of these two teams' lifespan is huge.
Yeah, if HellRaisers end up getting 2-0'd here, depending on how the other results go, things could actually get quite scary for them. Pause coming in, though. It seems as if Dead Fox is debating whether to pick up that secondary AWP there. He's sitting at around 6,000. Can't see if he's made the decision as of yet. And Space Soldiers, they are winning versus Fnatic at the moment, which would spell disasters for HellRaisers.
Yeah, which is quite crazy.
Okay, the double AWP doesn't actually come in.
And bear in mind, Jake, something that is occurring in one of the other matchups we have currently going on right now in the Heroic FaZe game. Heroic are 10-0 up over FaZe. So FaZe, it's not only the fact they're leaving it up to other teams to decide their fate, but they're also just struggling themselves. And G2, doing a good FaZe impression into this round, Jake, they have been battered by HellRaisers. They've only been able to find 1 frag, a huge amount of damage done, and this is where potentially the influence of HellRaisers could return when we see Woxic on the AWP. Kenny S trying to smite them, however, will at least make this round a bit more costly.
Yeah, exactly. As you were saying, Woxic, we saw it yesterday. HellRaisers got themselves into a position where they just couldn't afford that AWP on the gun rounds, and they just wouldn't look strong into those rounds. But already he's picked it up, got themselves a 2K, And HellRaisers already look very strong going into this round, and they're really going to need Woxic to step up alongside ESA here if they want any chance of coming back into this game. But nice start into this round. Kenny S can't really get anything done. Nice round for HellRaisers, and they really need to build off this. And ESA picks up that secondary AWP, so already changing things up slightly. But I'm sure he feels more than confident to hold that A-bomb site with it. Oh, no. He's dropping it to, I assume, Dead Fox. Nope. Wrong again. He's... No, he has picked it up.
He's dropping a rifle over,
yeah. I thought he was just going to take it for the A site, and he is. But G2, they're looking to just execute A from the get-go. Maybe they know that ESA picked up that secondary AWP and just want to change the pace here.
Well, they've been taking it slow and steady. The defaults haven't worked from the prior rounds, so now they instantly hit the pedal to the metal and they go for the burst out, Jake. Body is leaving everyone lifeless on the ground as he's on an absolute tear here. 3 kills, just a monstrous display for the man. And Woxic, sure, he can have a huge influence, but if no one's even coming towards him, there's not too much he can do. We'll get one little cheeky frag on the peekaboo there from Smiths, but surely this is now about him getting away and holding on to that AWP, and Shox is looking hungry for it.
Yeah, that is exactly what you want from your entry player in Body. HellRaisers, they had the defense ready there. They had 3 players towards that A-bomb site. The flash came in. ESA was in an awkward position where he couldn't get that AWP into play until it was far too late. And like you said, Body just bodied them. Woxic doing his best to save the AWP here. But surely he gets taken down here.
They can just throw themselves at him and hope for the best in existence. With the movement coming through, glides his way up, shows off the KZ, and saves the AWP for Kenny.
Yeah, and there we go. Worst case scenario for HellRaisers, I'm afraid. Instantly hard reset, and G2 could easily take this 11-4 in the end. HellRaisers forcing straight back into this. However, they haven't looked too good in most of their gun rounds so far, so can't really expect too much from just pistols and a couple of MP9s. 1 M4 on Woxic, but that's about it. Looks like they're going to push A main. Need to do something proactive on this round, but ooh, Kenny S, he's got the info at least, and Shox could be devastating from door here.
Oh, and he is indeed, Jake. Tasty tap comes through with the AK, but there is a response. Dead Fox and the reface assisting with Angel. They take him down.
However, that gives them all the info in the world that at least 2 players are situated towards that A-bomb side, but Woxic going huge on the A site with that 1 M4. And he's really turned the round completely on its head for HellRaisers, and they take it.
This is a lot better. HellRaisers, they're bringing it back from the position they were in. If we can see this end in possibly a 9-6 or a 10-5, that's not too bad. You can at least try and keep your heads held a little bit higher. Possibly find some momentum on the T side. Scary factor is, last time we saw Hobbit play with this roster, he was struggling on his T side. It seemed like they didn't really know how to use him. Obviously, that is Inferno going into Cash. Could be a little bit more of his bread and butter.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how he performs on that T side, like you said. However, on the side of HellRaisers, it really seems as though Woxic waking up has been the real key to them winning some of these later rounds. He needs to just stay at that level if they want any chance of winning this map. However, G2 slowing things right down again. But Kenny S goes for the peek from door, but it's just immediately shut down from ESA. So not a good start from the G2 side.
To start to make their move on towards the B site. Woxic will find the first kill with the AWP, looks for the reface, but Shoxy will be able to take him down. Smites him, upgrades back to the AK as well, so they are left in the 3 versus 3 as Existence is able to pop off ahead towards mid. That's Hobbit down and out.
Yeah, HellRaisers smartly enough making the call to stack 2 players towards this B-bomb site. Does look like this is where G2 want to hit. Angel could be critical in this round. Bit of an off angle here. Could catch some players out.
The G2 killers. Oh, the G2 killer bees on the swarm, but they have been swatted, Jake. They've just been knocked out of the skies. They all hit the deck, and it is going to end in a 9-6 half there. So HellRaisers, not too bad, all things considered, being able to find their form and start to bring it back.
Yeah, it looked like things could get really scary for them. The half could have definitely ran away from them. It could have easily been an 11-4. However, they won that half force MP9s, M4, and from there they won the last round and a half. And yeah, definitely a salvaged situation for HellRaisers. They'll be happy with that.
Yeah, that's not too bad. In terms of the other games we've actually got going as well, we do have the scorelines that are available, Jake, and there's a couple of interesting ones. Heroic are now 12-1 up over FaZe in that matchup, which is a pretty ridiculous feat on Mirage.
Yeah, it just looks like a terrible end to a pretty disappointing series for FaZe. And actually, there is a chance they can fall into the relegation spots if they're not careful. I'm pretty sure they need at least one win from that series to avoid that situation. However, we've got AGO hanging on for dear life. They're doing their best versus Astralis, 8-7 at the moment. And over at Space Soldiers, they've already let that lead slip. 5-5 against Fnatic, so very close game going on there. It's actually quite close across the board. Mouse and Nip, neck and neck, 8-6 at the moment. Big are actually taking it over Na'Vi 10-5 at the moment, Jack. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, we can also see Wendigo faulting under the pressure versus North on Cash as well, as that is a 10-5 lead against them. So quite a collection of tight results going through. The only one that really is very much one-sided is Heroic over FaZe, which in itself is a little bit of a mind-blowing one, as they now take themselves a 13th round, Jake. Looking like they really want to dominate at the half, but we are back in round 16 here, 9-6, with G2 facing off versus HellRaisers.
Yeah, and from the get-go, looks like HellRaisers have a clear idea of what they want to do on this pistol round. Looks like it's going to be a simple A-take, smoke off short, molly quad or MBK. And here we go. The execution is on.
Oh, Existence gets one kill. They've already been able to trade it back and find themselves an extra one to boot. Issa, well, the slap down takes body out in a matter of seconds. Kenny S fights back, but is it really enough? A 2 versus 3. The only play they can hold on to is the Apex Predator and Shocks going from the rear.
Yeah, Kenny S just trying to buy time. Has one more flash he can use for Shocks to pounce. Already gets that shot onto Dead Fox, and this makes things really awkward for the last two T players. Shocks coming out of door, has it all to do here. Oh, he gets another one. All left on Angel here.
Beautiful kill as well, Jake. Angel depends on his movement and the way he's going to read the round. Gets a couple of taps off. They need to jump on the bomb soon, but Angel batters the first man, and he's just toying with them. It's a game of ring around the rosies as he dives around the bomb site. Shocks with no ammunition, attempts to go for the stab, but it is not going to work. There'll be no beef Angel today.
Yeah, interesting decision from Kenny S there, maybe. Had the kit, could have potentially decided just to stick it and let Shocks cover him. However, he just sort of charged the Angel, threw the kit away. Shocks had to then pretty much do the exact same thing and, yeah, chase him around that red box, and didn't work out. Nice clutch from Angel there.
It's a big round for the big man himself, as he does like to lead by example, and that can normally be quite scary. If Angel's having a good game, he's one of those IGLs that it seems to actually fire up the rest of the team as well. Yeah,
we've seen him pop off in games before. Shocks, you know, he's just
trying to make sure his gun works, I think.
Yeah, just wasting bullets, I guess. Only has 12 left now. So it'll be fun to see if he actually runs out of bullets anywhere.
He did last time.
Yeah.
Now maybe we know why.
Yeah, maybe that's his thing. Just shoot it into the wall until...
The last
just makes it hard for himself, you know. Maybe just shoots out until he has one left.
Oh.
Style points really for Shocks.
Well, statistically, the last 12 bullets do have a +5 extra damage.
Exactly.
So it makes sense, you know. It's the risk reward. It's like when you spin the deagle.
Yeah, he's been studying the game as Shocks. However, HellRaisers really clean anti-eco here.
I think he took more damage than he would have if he was actually standing up, because the nade actually went fully onto him there whilst he was crouched.
Yeah, always a weird one, how nades actually do damage. It's interesting to see, as sometimes it lands at someone's feet, and like a small rock might just absorb all the damage, and
yeah,
you just look at it fully confused as to what's actually going on there. But however, HellRaisers do take this round and look to be evening things up rather quickly here. G2 are going to be buying into this next round.
Ooh. So this is why they went for the save in the previous one, so they can get the reinvestment here. But a map like Cache, it does actually work quite well because you can still at least pretty much guarantee yourself 5 smokes. On Inferno, we saw the issues not really working out with a buy like that because you do need the utility a little bit more. You've got to have those Molotovs. If you at least have the smokes on Cache, you can try and play around the rifles and still slow things down.
Sure, you normally see some sort of early aggression coming in from the CT side on a round like this. They have to try and get a foothold somewhere. As you see, they've got absolutely no nades left already. Few smokes left on the board. But with 1:30 left, those are going to start getting used up rather quickly. Not a single kit on the G2 side. So as I was saying, maybe a bit of aggression just to try and prevent that bomb from even going down here. As it's always going to be a dodgy retake without that kit. Already a bit of B aggression coming in from Hobbit. Being left alone once again on Cache. And already goes down without any impact into the round. However, Angel already moving out into mid. So maybe HellRaisers just speeding up off that bit of information here.
Just had Hobbit looking like a bit of a lost child in Asda there, Jake. Not really much of an idea what he was going to. Trying to find the checkout. The Tannoy is asking for help. Angel unable to find him. And he's dead.
Yep. Can Angel please come to the checkout area? Hobbit's lost.
He needs assistance. And G2, they need to try and keep this round on lock. Ooh. Big play from Smiths, gets the elimination. Angel lost on his way to the checkout as well, Jake. This is a pretty dangerous Asda.
Yeah, things seem to have fallen apart. From Hobbit falling down there, everyone just getting picked off now. Angel on his own in mid, couldn't get anything done, and they haven't been able to capitalize on the fact that G2 have that low utility. And they should be able to pick this one up now, but Issa, there we go. He's carrying on that form from the first half. 2 quick frags, but there's only 8 seconds left.
It's all about getting that bomb down, and the bomb has unfortunately hit the deck, but not in the way it needs to. It'll go down to the ground, but so does everybody else on that side of HellRaisers. They all get picked to pieces by the crossfire, fed to the meat grinder of the G2 side, and they get themselves to 10 rounds now.
Yeah, I'd actually really like to see something more decisive from HellRaisers there. You're going into a round where the CTs are going to be their most vulnerable for pretty much the whole half. It's the perfect opportunity just to break their economy early, and you just go into a slow default where 2 players get picked off without any sort of answer for a trade, and here we go. Limited buy on HellRaisers, and they're just going for full contact B.
Oh, bombarding their way in. Kenny struggling a little bit, but starts to find himself back into a composed form. Swicks out to the USP, but can't get the headshot to send them down to the Netherrealm, as it will fall into the 2 versus 2 now. Woxic beginning to punish with a Kalashnikov, Jake. And Body is caught a whiff. He knew where they were, was able to attack from behind, but it is constantly just Woxic bailing them out.
Yeah, reload comes in. Existence should have heard that. All starts... The mind games start to come in here. Again, Woxic being very loud, and he could walk into Existence if he's not careful. But it looked like he actually heard Existence himself. Seemed to look straight at him. And here we go. You never really know how these 1v1s are going to play out. Always an awkward situation for both players involved, and luckily for Woxic so far, he's made the right call. Existence doesn't have a kit, and this long rotation back towards the A site could really seal it here for Woxic. He's done half the job already.
Existence going to realise his error here as he'll go in towards the bomb site. Jake's going to go for the full rotation back over towards the A site. Woxic is getting out of there. He's going to slip into a bit more of a defensive angle. There's no kit for Existence either, as he has pushed his way up, Jake. If he's going to go for this one, it's all about the timing, and the face on Woxic could be coming straight out of main there. He has a sneaking suspicion, a rough idea, spots out the elbow, but the chance of him winning this one now is almost entirely gone. He's got to sprint in, find the frag, get back. He won't have the time. He's got the kill, realizes it as he stares back at the bomb of a single tear rolling down his eye, Jake. That will be a 9th round picked up for HellRaisers.
Yeah, like I said, in those 1v1s, it can get very awkward there. You sort of just have to gamble on one bomb site, and unfortunately for Existence, he chose wrong, and it just took far too long to rotate over there. Does get the kill, but nice clutch in the end. And HellRaisers just about edging forward here. Not a strong buy coming out for them, though. But on the other side, G2 don't actually decide to force into this, which is an interesting decision, although it's a bit of a half buy, actually. Shox has bought, Smiths has bought, Kenny just going for a deagle so he can eventually afford an AWP, but pretty disjointed, actually. And here we go, trying to make use of that 1 AK they have saved. Just wait. Yeah, he's just waiting to pounce. But already Smith's fallen.
The attack there from the elevated angle. Existence able to get the response onto Hobbit. Issa with the trade. It's a double kill. Glorious play with the Galil Jake to open up the angles. They can push up towards the site and claim this round. It should be theirs from this point forward, but Kenny S with the Deagle in his hand. It's a bit of a mean machine, but it won't amount to that much. Shocks as well should be cut off on the rotate here, really, as he sticks his nose in towards mid. And we have just had confirmation that our first game has closed down. It's a 16-3 win for Heroic over FaZe Clan. So they needed both of those wins, Jake, and they've already lost the first map in record time. None of the other games are that close to being finished yet.
No, absolutely. In FaZe, they're in a really scary position here where they could even fall into that relegation tournament, something that no one really would have expected from them. And it does almost feel as though FaZe are fully checked out when they play those online games. You see tweets coming out from Nico, not happy with online CS still being a thing. But on the flip side, you see teams like Astralis who take those games fully professionally and they're sitting comfortably at the top of the table. So that at the end of the day, there shouldn't really be any excuses for FaZe.
That is true. These stacked schedules causing a lot of issues for players, it seems, but into this round, it is going to be a stack on the A site for either side. All of them battling it off, Jake, as they come out. Smiths gets backhanded, Existence gets punched in the face there by Issa, and he is going to carry on to slaughter them all. Very easy frags found, and finally HellRaisers take a lead as they get themselves to the 11th.
Yeah, and finally G2 can produce another buy. It's not fully fantastic, but it's not terrible at the same time. That's what happens when you have those awkward rounds where Existence just about staying alive as that last member. But finally, Shock's actually going for the double AWP, which is an interesting decision. Didn't see too much of it on the HellRaiser side, but G2 trying to make it work. Shock's even going for an early peek at door. Ooh.
Nice way to open it. Smiths extinguishes that Molotov very quickly, so we can try and get some... Actually, should find a follow-up frag as well. Dead Fox. He thought he was being shot from the sky, Jake, with a flick like that. And Existence is on a mission to take everyone down, puts them into an endangered species, as the only one that remains is Issa. Existence has 22 kills to his name right now, and he is looking to add another one to that list.
Yeah, it's absolutely astonishing to see Existence. He must have had so many entry kills this game that it's perplexing, really, where this form has come from.
2 days in a row now as well.
Yeah, he is just on fire. And that could hint towards Shoxy maybe taking a bit of the stress off his shoulders. Maybe he started calling, who knows. But whatever it is, it seems to be working for Existence at least. And for G2, it's not doing too badly. And there we go, it should be the 4th kill. And Existence, he's just padding those stats at the moment, Jack.
Yeah, really building up himself a big buffer. That second result finally coming through as well. Over on Cash for Big versus Na'Vi. That was a 16-5 win for the Berlin International Gaming side. Na'Vi crumbling under the pressure once more.
Yeah, and I do believe Big can catch Na'Vi if they 2-0 them. Although it might come down to some interesting bit of round difference. We'll have to see afterwards. Actually, I'm wrong.
No?
No, I'm wrong.
No. It could have been a storyline.
It was only Na'Vi that could catch Astralis. However, Astralis would have had to lose 2-0 and...
Na'Vi would have had to.
I think they would have had to lose 16-0.
Right.
16-0. So...
almost impossible
pretty
at
much.
that point. In terms of the Astralis game that is going on, whilst we're in a quick pause now, it is 11-11 on Cash as well versus AGO. So that one very tight. Obviously, Astralis, unfortunately, playing from a different continent, clearly proving a little bit awkward for them.
Yeah, Mouse and Nit 11-11 themselves on Nuke. So a lot of close games on this last day of Pro League, Jack.
3 games all tied up 11-11 right now. So providing for a tight affair as we get into round 23 on Cash. The push coming out towards the A site. They're going to set themselves up. Looks to be a burst from HellRaisers. Straight up door burst. You're going to smoke and flash out, cover towards short. They'll then run in towards the site and hope they can lock it down. Existence playing for MBK will get 1 kill, but the response from his team is absolutely golden. But what they do not realize is Angel is a sneaky man, Jake. Goes in for the backstab, but the same has done to him. Body will be able to slump him out And it is all up to Woxic to save the day. Taking a lot of damage there. Spams through the box, though, and gets the first frag. Kenny, will he try and take this firefight? The bomb is in his vision. He can see it dropped there, just covered behind the body. Woxic peeks into him, and G2 once again regain the lead.
Yeah, doubly sneaky there from Body, just hiding in that smoke. Instant trade as well, got 2 important frags on that A defense, and was a nice change of pace from HellRaisers, just the trades just about not going in their favor. And G2 hanging on here. However, it's another round where they only have 1 player alive, so their economy is in a fragile state. However, HellRaisers, they're forced onto the deco round. 5 Deagles, no armor. G2 poised to give them an advantage into this latter stage of the half here.
Kenny, actually getting a bit aggressive, trying to find the early pick. Looks like they might try and go for the boost over the smoke, or the run boost straight through. Hobbit just holding it, as they will get on top of his head, Jake, and they could try and go for something a little bit unorthodox.
Yeah, you'll love to see it. Try anything. Look, they're just trying to catch anyone out. See if Kenny went even more aggressive. He has been. Huge nade coming in. So I believe just mid-floor there. And it does look like they're just going to group up towards that A site. Angels managed to get to forklift here. Body's just playing retake, but this might surprise him.
Oh, no.
No.
They'll just all peek into the body show, Jake. As they've been body slammed out of the server, Hobbit with the Deagle will find one very tasty shot back onto existence. Almost gets the bomb down, but hears them pushing towards him and is able to somehow overthrow Shoxy there. Gets 2 kills, forced off because of the Molotov. This round is quite all over the shop, but it is still going. And Hobbit will be going down straight to a date with the coroner, as Body will finish him 13-11 now. Yeah,
like you said, very messy end to the round there. However, Shox probably would be happy just about giving his life away for that bomb plant. HellRaisers didn't manage to secure it in the end, and thereby suffering because of it. Woxic does manage to buy that AWP. So he's hoping he can get the impact that HellRaisers truly need here. Just going into more of a default play. Bit of map control everywhere around the map. Seems as though the Shroud boost is coming into effect for G2. Always nice to throw this out at least once a game. They did do it silently, and there was no one there to hear it. Body actually changing it up, just going on top of door. And it just makes it that extra bit harder for HellRaisers to check that position. Should be able to get 1 kill at least from this position. However, HellRaisers just taking their time.
Ooh.
Playing with fire there, Hobbit.
If you play with fire, you're going to get burned, Jake, and it seems like HellRaisers could be left in an inferno towards mid here. Everyone grouped up. A couple of players there stacked on top of Starline as they just sit and wait for the push to come through.
Yeah, seems to be grouping up towards that A-bomb site. However, defense is here. Like we said, Body's ready on that Shroud boost. Somehow, HellRaisers have got those 2 early entries. Smith's answers back. The push is coming out here, Jack.
Oh, they're trying to get in towards the site. Dead Fox actually gets that kill on Body.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
He gets absolutely nothing for that boost. And that's super disappointing for him. Kenny S forced to save, and the money is just atrocious on that G2 side. Body the only one with funds in the bank. Kenny S isn't even going to save. Far too casual with that save, just walking around outside Z. He's been punished for it.
The fact is, they don't have cash either.
Yeah, this is super awkward for G2. I don't really know what the decision is. Body could go for some sort of hero walk play, but shouldn't really be the case. Take 1 more eco and they have a okay buy going into the 27th round. Should be a 13-13 here. Very close game so far.
Ooh,
this could get tasty for Hobbit if he's not careful.
Could have tried to cook them a little bit, but instead we'll just fill them with lead. As he punishes each and every one of them, is going to dare to try and push towards him. However, the trades are coming back through. Smith's USP is looking very deadly today. Woxic shows that he can also wield a pistol to a higher pedigree, though, Jake, as he is putting players to bed right now. The last man to remain will be Kenny S. He had an idea where he was, and that will be the 3K for Woxic. It's tied up 13-13 here on Cash. We've had another result come through as well. North win on Cash versus Wendigo, 16-7.
Interesting game there. Wendigo They've looked very strong at the end of this season, however, faltering to North, who themselves, they've had a bit of resurgence with Cadian coming in, really sprucing up that lineup. However, the pause is coming in. G2 potentially just discussing how they want this buy to go. I'm sure Body will probably drop over the AWP towards Kenny S. Shox as well, the only player to abort so far. But not an ideal situation. It should be a good enough buy for G2 to win out here. However, it's almost now or never, because if they lose this round, it could be match point before they even have a response coming into this.
Big round here, Jake. It's all to play for. You really don't have any room for error. This is when it comes down to crunch time. Both of these two teams are so susceptible to losing the game if they lose this round.
Absolutely, Jack. HellRaisers a bit of a bank on 2 players, however, they won't be in a tasty situation either, as they do go into a slow default once again. Taking a bit of A main control. Hobbit not even going towards B this time, just holding for a push. Going to start putting in his nades any second now. And G2 not getting aggressive themselves. They've left Shox all alone on that B-bomb site. He's happy enough just to defend that himself. As it seems HellRaisers may be setting up for some mid nades. Yep, the mid control is going to come in. This could get quite scary for Body and Existence, who are defending it.
Smiths, is he ready for this play to come towards him? They're going to use the utility very nicely. So Body takes a ton of damage, forced to reposition, but they're not looking in the correct angle. So heavily focused that he would have been trapped in the Molotov, Jake. They go down and pay the price. There is the trade back from Dead Fox, and they should cut off the rotation. Boxic! He's been hitting so many crisp shots, Jake, but he can't land that one. An Existence saves Smiths' life. Surely with a Guardian Angel giving him a second chance like this, he needs to go on to have such a huge impact into the round. 2 kills already, makes it the 3rd, and Dead Fox is trapped between a rock and a hard place, and he has no idea that rock is coming to smash his skull in, and Shox will do it.
Yeah, Shox has been so key with those flanks this game already. But Smiths, he's had...
Oh, he's buzzed.
He is. He is one of those players that loves to shake their mouse around, Jack. But Smiths that round, he's been quiet this game, but a huge 3K and an important assist coming into that round, and they really just shut down HellRaisers' attempt to split the A-bomb site. The mid-crunch got completely shut down before it even got going. And HellRaisers calling the pause now. Their money's not too fantastic. Going to be a difficult decision. They do afford the AWP on Woxic. UMP already coming out for Angel. AK on the floor there. Hobbit going to have to make the decision whether he goes for the AK or just gets nades, potentially a Galil. That is the decision there. Mousesport's almost taken it from Nip there, Jack.
Yeah, we've actually got another win coming through as well. Astralis have defeated AGO on Cash. That is a 16-11 scoreline. Figured things out towards the end, Jake, to shut that one down before it got out of hand. Our game, though, very close. G2 winning that round is so influential because of the effect it's had on the economy for HellRaisers. And now winning this game got a whole lot harder for the HellRaisers.
Yeah, you can see G2's economy still on the brink. Existence has to afford that. UMP and almost feels as if someone could chuck over him an M4 as he's been playing so fantastically today. But already slowing things down. Neither side wanting to give anything away, and that's a bold position for Existence to play in. Even going to get flashed in, potentially? No. Just keeping Angel on his toes there in A main. Very tense round here, Jack. This could actually essentially decide the game, because if HellRaisers lose this round, they have absolutely no money going into match point for G2. And once again, G2's economy is completely broken if they lose this. Mid control coming in, it almost looked like at the worst time as G2 were just shifting all over. Oh, this could really come to a head at boost. Both teams boosting up at the same time. Oh, Hobbit should hear that. Okay, yep. Definitely cancel that. Yep. You've made the noise. But HellRaisers, if they speed things up here, the A defense isn't ready, and Body's the only man here. Wayward spray, just praying. Doesn't get anything for it. And HellRaisers, they have the site.
This is looking messy, Jake. All kind of mistakes being made. And Existence appears to be the one to try and buck up his ideas, pull his boots up and go for a big play. Kenny will find himself traded out there. Existence down and out. The only one that hasn't been bagged up and tagged is Shoxy in a 1 versus 3. That's got to be a save. Unfortunately now, G2 will suffer the position they just put HellRaisers in. This is going to be tied up 14-14. They're keeping it oh so close. For G2, it is going to be very hard now going into the next round. The economy is going to be low. HellRaisers, lucky to actually save a couple of weapons there. They'll carry through those 2 M4s in the orb. Woxic clutching onto that bad boy is going to be very influential.
Yeah, and that is just painful for G2. You can see how small details really come down to deciding close games like this. Just the mid-round call to decide we're going to counter boost at this second. The fact that Existence messed it up, jumping on his head, making the sound cue. They decide to cancel, however, Hobbit could pounce on that, heard them running away, killed Smiths, and the A defense wasn't there as they were boosting. And because of that, HellRaisers had free reign to take the A site. And yeah, G2 calling the pause, their economy's in tatters. And Jackie, not looking good.
No, it's not at all. We're now seeing as well, Jake, Mouse Sports have won over Ninjas in Pyjamas. That is a 16-14 victory on Nuke. That one looked like it was possibly going to overtime. However, it has been closed out. So the only games we currently have going on in the first best of 1 here is our game 14-14 rather, and also Space Soldiers versus Fnatic, which is incredibly close in Inferno, Jake. Both teams on 10 rounds.
Yeah, quite a tense game. These 2 last games that are still in play, very tense. Neither teams wants to really just give up this lead. However, G2 are in an awful position. No money, no real guns to play with. HellRaisers, they have to take this game here and now. These next 2 rounds, they can't let this get to overtime here, Jack. That would be a disaster for them.
They would still technically get a majority of points, but it's about the results around them. That is what's scary. Points mean everything, Jake, as we're into this position.
Yeah, and Ben just highlighting a bit of an inconsistent buy. Shock still has 800, could have done something with that. Kenny S, more importantly, 2,300. That's another rifle in play if he drops over a FAMAS. Could have had a scout. Wouldn't Kenny S prefer to play with a scout on track? I'm not too sure what the thought process is there. Surely you have to have a coherent buy. There's no point in him just going for a hero play in the next round. So, weird decision coming out in such an important round. This game going all the way down to the wire. And HellRaisers, they're grouping towards that B bomb site, Jack. Only Kenny S and Smith's here. This could get tasty.
Kenny with a deagle. He touched on it. Let's see if he can try and make us look a fool. If he somehow has potential and he tricks up his sleeve. Damage done. Nice use of the HG. The utility usage looking very tidy towards the B site. Kenny's going to get a tag off. Smiths just runs in and body slams the first man. Kenny with a response, but it is purely body that is dealing the death. The Grim Reaper arrives on the scene, Jake, and cuts them all down in a matter of seconds of the UMP. Around G2 looked like they were never going to win, and they have now got themselves to match point.
Almost looked like indecision coming out from HellRaisers there. They started the execute, the mollies came in, however, they were just much happier just to wait in checkers, in B main, taking those fights. However, G2, they knew they can't let HellRaisers getting into the site, take it, and put the bomb down, so they've all just charged out, taken the fights. We've seen Kenny S just charging into B main, gets that 1-for-1 trade, and it's just anarchy, which is always going to favour the pistols and the low buy for G2. And as I was saying, disaster for HellRaisers here. Scrappy by all means. No utility really to speak of. Couple of smokes, a few flashes. Do get the rifles in, but no head armor on Angel and Woxic. And as I was saying, HellRaisers, they were poised to take last round, but G2 now in a position where they really shouldn't let it get to overtime. They've got the weaponry, they've got the equipment. They need to snuff this out now, Jack.
That's the thing that's scary as well, right? Is Kenny actually being able to save money from that round with the bonus they get? They get the AWP out because of it. So going into this last round, being able to have the stolen AWP and the cash to back it up to get himself the complete full buy is going to make him a little bit scary. He's got the weapon that he is so influential with, Jake. This round means everything. If G2 win it, the first 3 points will be taken for them, and they'll be set to possibly get themselves a big lead here over HellRaisers. It's kicked off as the push comes out. Such a delayed trade there back from Dead Fox. He took so much damage.
Yeah, nice play from Existence, but so far, HellRaisers, they've got all the kills they need so far. Huge fight coming in from Angel, and they win it. It's all down to Kenny S on the last member of the A site, and he's fallen. Maybe these teams should just start playing with weaker buys, Jack, and they'll win some of these rounds. Shox has been taken down. We're going to overtime. I can't really analyze that one, Jack. Both teams, about 3 rounds in a row, the team with the weaker buy has managed to prevail. Not too sure how you explain that. But here we go, into overtime, which could make things somewhat interesting in terms of points.
That is true, because it's not just about these two teams. On a purely head-to-head method, it is, right? Obviously, for G2, if they get the wins, they're going to try and put themselves into a better position, solidify that, and possibly move up to secure a better seed. However, for HellRaisers, it is about really clutching on and keeping themselves within that top 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Neither team able to edge things out so far. We knew it was going to be a close game, very evenly matched. The odds suggested the same thing. However, both teams just need to regroup mentally and just get their heads straight back in the game and take this overtime for themselves. But we've seen it in that latter stage of the game. Both teams have situations where they could have easily just taken the game in one round, essentially, but they both faltered at key moments. It's just not really good enough, Jack.
Interesting enough as well, Jake, have just got full confirmation of this. G2 have secured themselves a spot at the LAN final plays-off because of the overtime they've now forced themselves into. So their job is done. They're going to be happy that they have actually been able to force this out.
Yep, just purely fighting for their seed now. So still a decent amount to play for. HellRaisers, on the other hand, they have everything to play for. They're still in a position where they could falter and fall into the relegation zone. However, overtime is starting out here. Both teams, all the money in the world to play with. Not something we've seen for a while now. Both teams fully kitted out. And already, Kenny S looking to get a bit aggressive towards that B bomb site. Going to go straight through that smoke. Ooh. There we go. Woxic, no real position to get the trade. But Shox is going to re-aggress off that. Now, does make some sense as Hobbit's been there on his own so many rounds. So Shox may be thinking, I could just maybe get into Toxic here, maybe just backstab straight from the start, catch them off. But in the 5v4, probably not worth it, all things considered. Existence going for this boost once again, see if he can do it silently this time. And again, it's coming to a head just as the HellRaisers are boosting. Oh, 2 frags for Existence. That's huge.
And that makes it so much more worth it. It was a little bit worrying with Shox going for that push, Jake. It left them in a position where potentially HellRaisers could have actually started to get the lead off the back of that, being left to the 4 versus 4. However, instead, it's now much more favoured. Existence really having a huge impact into the round. Issa, he's gotten out towards MBK, but this is so awkward. He hasn't been able to play well. The timing, Smiths has come in through the back door, and Woxic is dead. It is all up to Issa now, and a 1 versus 3. He might have 40 seconds, but he has no bomb, and he has no real idea where all the players are, and unfortunately, he now has no head. Yeah,
that looked really unlucky for Issa. It seemed they got the perfect timing on Body, who was fully flashed. However, it just looked like he came through that smoke pretty slowly. He was hard checking MBK, wasn't checking site, and Body, nice movement to get himself around the site. And he finishes off the round for his team, 16-15 for G2. Good start for them going into the first round of overtime. And again, looks like it could be aggression on the cards in towards A main.
Kenny. He has been trying to switch it up. Now in overtime as well, where he realizes he does have a bit more cash to play with. We've seen him start to go back with that aggressive...
with the wallbang.
My goodness. Oh, nearly the flick around as well, Jake, but he's suffering now. Luckily, he had the survival instinct to cast out that smoke just as the Molotov came through, but it won't be able to save him. He gets out of there. Everyone's so low on the CT side as well, but this map control play from Shox could try and save them a little bit, but he's trapped between everyone. This is not looking good for the CT side.
No, Issa clearly had that lineup. And G2, they're doing anything they can to even things up here. Bit of damage done, and Existence, he's just going. Oh, he was thinking about pushing into door. However, Shox gets taken down in mid, and this round has just fallen apart for G2. HellRaisers poised to even things straight back up, and oh, lovely shot coming in from Woxic. And this has really been most of the game, just these teams trading round after round. No one really just taking rounds in a row, and no one can just be the dominant force here. It's been a real tight one, Jack.
Yeah, it's so back and forth. It's crazy. Smiths on a solo mission. Angel should be able to deal with him. We'll be able to find that frag with relative ease, Jay, because he scavenges what fell off his corpse. The last round of the first half of overtime here, 16-16. One of these teams will take a slight advantage going through into the second half. Kenny still on the AWP. They have cash. They've got all that money to play with. He has been influential. He's been able to at least get an opening pick majority of these times, but can he do it again? This time switching up his play style.
Yeah, however, HellRaisers going for the 5-man push early on towards B, and Shox with that angle. Catches up at first, doesn't get anything else, and that's the B bomb site already open.
Body. Actually trying to bombard down Existence, running side by side there with Angel as well towards the site. He carries on this massacre as he is just beating them down. Body will break the bones of Woxic. G2 will go through 17-16 now as we get into the second half of overtime, Jake. It's so neck and neck.
Yeah, and that clearly seems to be a bit of a trend really for G2. When they lose that B bomb site, the decision really seems to be made retake now before they can get set up, and once again we see everyone just charging through smokes. Existence pushing straight through that CT smoke, gets all the important frags, and HellRaisers, they have no real answer to that. That's the second time we've seen them approach the B bomb site and just been shut down when it looked so good for them.
At the very least, HellRaisers have confirmed themselves 1 point for pushing this into overtime. But they really need points here because they've got to try and keep themselves within that upper echelon, top 7, Jake. If they don't win this and at least guarantee 2 points as a minimum and then try their best to scrape some more out on the second map, this isn't looking great for them as the day's going.
No, it's an awkward one. Space Soldiers still struggling versus Fnatic. They are just about taking it 14-2 in that game. So a bit slower than us.
14-2?
14-12.
I was going to say, that would be a very one-sided affair.
It would have been. Would have also been a bit questionable as to how it took so long.
Very, very slow rounds.
However, should be getting into the second half of this overtime any second now. G2 once again in the position to really take this home. Have the advantage going back onto their T side. It's been a while, Jack. But they're going to hope they can take that early form they had into this game, as it did look rather dominant in the first half.
Well, if we remember the mid-control players that were coming out, it was pretty big for them. They had a very clear understanding of how to counter and shut down HellRaisers, but the one thing that reinvigorated them was the AWP on Woxic. Now cash isn't an issue, Jake. They can have that AWP whenever they want it, and that could be what gives them a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, faster play coming in off the bat for G2. Early mid-aggression. And HellRaisers, they're going to fight it. Dead Fox just playing under Z, and Existence. Lovely shot. Does get traded out, however, goes in favor of G2. 4v3 from the get-go, really, and HellRaisers in an awkward position. Have no real map control to speak of. This could get pretty grim from them pretty quickly as G2 group over towards A. With Body ready just to come in with the backstab from shore.
Well, Body goes down. Yes, will be able to eliminate him. Angel gets the follow-up frag, Jake, and it looked fantastic to start off, but it looks absolutely dire for G2. And Kenny has no idea of Angel's position. Assassin will push up, get the elimination, grab himself the AK as well at the end of the round, and it's tied up once more, 17-17. Now, something that has been a bit of a trend in Pro League appears to be unless a team wins 3 rounds at a half, it never really ends.
No, it just keeps going, Jack. And that felt almost as if it was a bit of a poor decision, really, for Body to take the first contact there and perish so early on, as it just opened up HellRaisers the chance to look directly at all those players coming out from A main. Whereas if he had gone a bit later, he could have just about got the right timing. However, Angel playing around this smoke now. Boost has been an absolute mental spot for both teams so far, and he's still just sitting in that smoke.
Body getting the kill. The spam down to Hobbit. Angel in the position with the flick up. Jake, how has he been able to find both of the frags?
Jumping headshot. Insult to injury there. Disgusting from Angel. And G2, they are just... They're lost, Jack. Kenny S shocks. Not much they can do. They're going to try and speed things up over towards the A bomb site. Issa alone here. He's already split them up.
Able to segregate them and break them into two separate players here, Jake. This isn't great. Shocks finds the frag. Finally, the Molotov will go out, and it's still the 2 versus 3. 2 players close in the site, one of them rotating back around, and it's all on Kenny, but he misses the shot, Jake. This is horrific. 4 HP and a dream, but he will not be winning it. He goes down. Woxic will frag him, and that is an 18th round picked up. HellRaisers, one more to secure victory here and secure those 2 points that mean so much for them.
Yeah, it's an absolute brawl here, Jackie. Just rounds, just coming down to random, exceptional solo plays. You see Angel there. Probably shouldn't have got that second kill, if we're honest. Jumping headshot. But that's what this game's coming down to. It's so close between these teams that whoever comes out with the more special plays more frequently is seemingly going to take this one, as Woxic getting tagged up towards B early on here. Onto 30 frags himself.
Oh, the angle, it favored Kenny. He gets the kill. Smiths with the obliteration on Angel, Jake. It's looking like they want to try and push it out for another overtime, as they're going to go for the play in towards the B site. Dead Fox needs to go absolutely monstrous, but he's shooting above the head. Body stays alive. They've got control. They can go in towards the B site. It's just Issa and Hobbit that remain, but Hobbit bounds into action, wants to show his worth, but he can't do it. The uppercut will come through from Kenny S. He's going to be able to find that frag, and it goes 18-18, Jake. There is going to be another overtime.
Yeah. It never ends, Jack. Like you said, these teams are just so close. They've been trading rounds for as long as I can remember. It's absolutely astonishing to watch. No team really pulling ahead here. And it doesn't look like anyone's game to take at the moment. We could be here for a while, Jack.
Yeah, and this is a lengthy one. And the more surprising thing about it is, in the time we've been able to play all of these rounds out, the Space Soldiers Fnatic game is still ongoing. That is a 14-13 scoreline on Inferno in favor of the ex-Space Soldiers side.
Yeah, potentially having some technical issues over there. Not too sure. They have just managed to get to match point versus Fnatic. Fnatic, a team who have looked pretty poor, all things considered, online. They had that really nice run at IEM Chicago, where they seem to have had a bit of a resurgence there with that new roster. However, they're still struggling when it comes to playing that online CS. However, the third overtime or second overtime, Jack?
Second overtime.
Second overtime.
There he is.
It's underway, Jack. And G2 looking to get the start they want to take this game.
Angel, very aggressive play. I mean, the Molotov should force him out, but it falls further back as he's just going to be holding. If they don't suspect the push, they'd have a huge round here. Oh, Jake, the crossfire works, and it is quite unorthodox.
Really aggressive setup there from the CTs. Completely catch G2 off guard. And already they're left into a 2v5. And there's really nothing to do. It's all Smiths, and he's been taken down. And exceptional round for HellRaisers to kick things off.
See, that's a whole lot more worrying as well, because like we said, if it gets into a point where a side wins all 3 rounds, they tend to close it down. That's the only way we've really seen overtimes closed out pretty much here in Pro League this season. Nearly every one of the overtimes have been one side winning all 3 rounds. And that is by far the most dominant round we have seen coming out from HellRaisers. No casualties, all 5 kills in a matter of seconds, but playing with confidence as well to really change the pace.
And here we go, change of pace. Existence just about adjusts and gets Angel, but the trade is even so far, but Existence, he's trying to drag his team over the finish line. Issa answers back though, going for a bit too much there maybe. Woxic. What a sneaky position, gets himself in door.
It was like the intro to James Bond.
It was, he's walked straight into the scope, he's shot, his screen's full up with blood. And it's the 2v2 here. Both CT players nowhere near each other. They both decided just to play their own bomb sites. G2 have to decide where they want to go now.
2-on-2, Jake. There's a minute on the clock, so time is still available. They don't really have to rush a decision just yet, but both of them are going to go through vents and attempt to make their move in towards the site. Dead Fox needs to contest this, got the elevated angle, hits them with the death from above, as Kenny has lost his head, and it is all on Body into the round. He's been given some leeway, though, to get the bomb down at the very least in this 1 versus 2 to heighten his chances. If the peak comes around, he has to be utterly ready. With the AK out, a simple tap on Dead Fox, and it falls into the 1 versus 1. Woxic grabs the smoke and starts to make his move. He's got 4 HP. He's got a kit, and he can smoke the bomb to just try and jump on it. He's covered. There's no real chance. It's going to be the free defuse, but he actually got the first shot off. My goodness, Jake. He's won the round, but it still could have been messy.
Yeah, that was a really awkward bomb plant from Body there. It's weird because it was a safe plant in terms that the CT could defuse it without being shot, more or less. I mean, he got a single tag off, but that was it. However, he was still exposed to upper anyway, so not really seeing the point as to not just planting open there. He's just unlucky for Body. He got himself into a nice position, but strong play just defusing that smoke, and that is really nice. Hobbit taking the initiative, flashed in. Existence has been playing on that box so many rounds. Finally punished for it.
Woxic. It's just gifted to him, Jake. It's looking like they're going to find all 3. Surely this alludes to HellRaisers actually being able to pick it up, because in that second half, all they've got to do is win 1 round to close down the game, 22-18. Smiths will fall as well. It's going to be another flawless one for them, surely, at this point. It's only Shox and Kenny. How many times have we seen this?
Yeah, it almost looks as if G2 have run out of steam. Maybe a bit of second wind coming in for HellRaisers, who have really stamped their authority on this game finally. The most dominant we've seen a team for a while in this map. And G2, they're in a precarious situation going on to their CT side. They're going to have to do the exact same thing HellRaisers have just done to them and have a flawless half just to postpone the game and keep things going.
Oh, Shox pushes his way out. Will actually get the initial kill, but he's taken a lot of damage because of it. However, Hobbit has also fallen. Kenny's been able to snipe him, hunting, as he looks to continue on this slaughter, but it is not meant to be, Jake. Shoxy now trapped in a 1 versus 3. Angel will overthrow him, hits him with a beatdown. He will be bludgeoned, and they will get themselves 21 rounds. They need 1 round now to win the game in the second overtime here. And talking of overtimes, they are being loved today, as Space Soldiers and Fnatic will go into OT.
Yeah, 2 incredibly close games. And to be fair, that really does reflect the table for this whole Pro League season. It's been neck and neck all around that mid portion of the table, and yeah, it's carrying on into the last day. Overtime's galore, Jack.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've seen that sort of 7th to 10th position with all those teams scrapping to see who's going to make it, who's going to fall down, who potentially will end up in relegation. And it's scary stuff, Jake. FaZe clearly having a bit of a struggling day there as they lost 16-3 and some wacky results coming through. We've got the pick of the litter, though, with our game, as we have finally been pushed into double overtime. But HellRaisers, they look like they are set up to take it now and shut down the game.
Yeah, like you said, the only times we do seem to see overtimes getting closed out is when that team wins those 3 consecutive rounds on a half. HellRaisers, they've done the hard part. They just need 1 round from their T side. G2, on the other hand, they've got it all to do, a real mountain to climb. It's going to be a struggle, but they just have to take it round by round here. The double orbs coming out off the bat. And here we go.
Back into the action now. It's all to play for, Jake. It's going to be a big one. Let's see how it'll go.
Yep, HellRaisers not going to force things too early on. Just going for another slow default. Kenny S could punish Hobbit here. He's been caught out a few times this game so far. And a bit of an interesting stack actually coming in from the CT side. Gambling towards B early on. It's only Hobbit. So far, the swing comes out from Shox, and they're really pouncing on Hobbit here.
Hobbit finds himself the first kill. This is not a great start for G2 because they need these rounds. Kenny trades it back, eliminates him. Woxic with the overthrow. Surely this means it is over, Jake. It has to be the victory for HellRaisers now, and 2 points secured here, meaning G2 will only get the one. As this play is coming out towards the A site, the Three Musketeers set to try and defend it. They would need a tenacious defense if it is going to happen, and they are being picked apart. However, the response is absolutely fantastic from Body in Existence. 2 kills found, but they don't know about Issa. My goodness, Jake, timing is everything. This man's composure has to be absolutely rock solid. The mental fortitude of him has got to be like a fortress as he pushes behind, holding the trigger discipline. Existence peeks out, he gets one, but they're now going to know where he is. However, he's caused the over-rotate, Jake. Woxic, he can plant the bomb for free.
Yeah, Issa behind enemy lines. He's dragged Kenny straight back, and he gets the kill. Insult to injury, he could finish it here. He's taken Body down to 3 HP. However, Woxic, he's got an orb. So unless he's told that Body's low, and to be fair, he seems to have been tagged by multiple players. They probably won't even know Jack. So technically, it's not the worst case scenario. He's got all the info in the world. He's got a Molotov for that bomb as well if things get a bit tighter on the time. And it's all on Body Jack.
Had to be ridiculous, and it was not meant to be. It was going to be so hard there for him to win it, really. You have to favor Woxic in every single possibility with that round, and he will win it. HellRaisers, they shut down the game in double overtime off the back of winning the 3 rounds on the trot. Expected stuff. It seems to be a running theme.
Yeah, that round really sums up that game. It was an interesting read from G2. They seem to have identified that Hobbit lurks around that B site often. Pretty much every round on that T side, he was alone there. And the decision there was, we'll spot him and just charge him. They've mollied him. He's managed to do more than enough. He's got 1 kill and the info that Kenny S is also pushing him. So what they've done there, they've sped up, taken that A site, but from there it got very messy when G2 just managed to trade back efficiently, and Issa just a little sneaky.
Yeah.
Playing around that A site, gets 2 kills, damages Body, and just fantastic game, really.
Yeah, absolutely wild stuff coming out from both of the sides here, Jake. There has been some momentous rounds in that one, I feel. And we saw the passing of the torch from all of the players on both teams. Some really big impact rounds from players like Existence, still carrying on that form from yesterday. However, they just could not close it out. HellRaisers, as soon as we got into that second overtime, you could just see the consistency was there. They carried on the form from the first OT. CT side was absolutely perfect, and it went their way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, just an absolute brawl throughout this game, just trading rounds consistently. It was only until that second overtime that they ran away with it. 4 rounds in a row for them, and they closed out this game in style, Jack.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff there from HellRaisers as they lock this one down. We will leave you with the replays of this first best of 1. There is still another game to go today over on the B stream, so keep it locked for the following map between HellRaisers and G2. We'll see you there.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, The Road to Odense, Betway, MSI, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.